Can I be transparent? This is the second time I'm filming this video because the first one, I looked horrible. I looked so fucking horrible, so I was like, I look ugly. Can't do that. No, I will not clock myself looking hit on this fucking channel. Like, no. But I spruced myself up and I look. Anyway. Hi everyone, Darius Maxon here, back at it again with another YouTube video. Yo! What is up? What is going on? Hello. This is the second week of my October movie review. For this video, it's kind of a theme where like I go back and watch either originals or sequels. Yeah, originals or sequels that I haven't seen before, but I've seen their remakes or originals. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, October 8th, I watched The Strangers Prey at Night, the sequel. I had mixed feelings about this movie because in the original Strangers, it was like a realistic, scary, slow burn horror. Whereas this one just seems like your typical slasher horror. You know, like it was very jarring to see that. Like I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like I thought this was gonna be like a scary horror movie, but this is like, it wasn't that scary, and it just reminded me of like, I don't know, like Freddy and like, you know, like I don't know, just like very, like not very, but like campish horror, whereas like it's not that scary, it's just more enjoyable, which kind of like took me aback because I was like, what the fuck is this? But it's not a bad slasher, it's actually a pretty good slasher. Well, decent. Like it's a very decent slasher movie. So yeah, that's my only critique. It was like, because the first one was so scary. Like, it was like genuinely scary. It's like a really scary movie. But this one was just like, it's not scary, but it's actually very entertaining. And funny too. Funny at some parts. But yeah, it was just a very different movie than I was expecting. Because like the trailers did make it seem like a slasher. But I'm like, it's not going to be a slasher. It's going to be an actual genuine scary movie like the first one. But it wasn't. So yeah, that's my critique on that. I was a little disappointed. But anyway, October 9th, I watched Hostel Part 3. Now, let me just say something. When you think torture movie, do you expect torture? Because I do. Because I expect torture in a torture movie. This gave me nothing. This gave me shit. There was only one guy that I really felt like he was being tortured, but then he died in the most stupidest way possible. Like, what the fuck? This is supposed to be a torture movie. Why is there no torture? Like, the first two were torturous. Like, oh my gosh, like, you felt genuinely bad for these characters because they're being tortured to death. I was expecting that for the third one. Like, keep the train going. Because the first two was amazing. The second one's my favorite. Like, but this one, like, why are we dying from cockroaches? Not even like biting or poisonous or anything. Just cockroaches in your mouth, and that was it. Why are we dying from that? Why are we dying from simple arrows? That's not torture. What the fuck? Why are we dying from our face being cut off? And that's it. What? Now, the man that got his face cut off, he acted like he was like being tortured to death, which was like, it was like a little bit of the saving grace in the movie. But like how he died was like not torturous. And then there was a twist with one of the, cause this movie follows like a bachelor group getting tortured. And there was a twist of one of the members of the bachelor group. And that kind of saved the movie a little bit too, but everything else was just fucking trash. Like, what the fuck? And I kind of expected that a little bit because this was it wasn't theatrical. It was just like made to video type of horror movies, which aren't all bad, but majority of them are. So I was kind of expecting it to be not great, but damn, I didn't expect it to be horrible. Like, what? Anyways, yeah, pretty trash, hated it, but I won't give it a 0 because people worked on the movie. So I will not give the movie a 0. Unless it has to be garbage for it to be a 0. But anyway, yeah, didn't like it. October 10th, I watched the original Amityville Horror. Now, I was expecting this movie to be scary as shit because they made like 12 million sequels, right? And there's like a lot of sequels to this shit. And I watched the remake of it, and that one was really scary, and I liked it. So I was expecting the original one to be like, oh my gosh, this was like terrifying. But no, I did not get that, unfortunately, because it was just like not that great. Because it was made in the 70s, so I don't dock movies on like bad quality since it's like older. But yeah, just the story was like not there. Like, cause the only parts I liked was like the hot dad, because that dad was so fucking fine. I was like, holy shit, like damn. And then also the family falling apart was like kind of nice to watch, but even that was like not that great because I don't know, I just really didn't feel it, you know, like y'all falling apart, but it's like not as potent as like the remake was. And then also there was a funny scene where like there was a babysitter and she got locked in a closet and she was like begging to be let out, and like her acting in that was like really good, like the sound design for that scene was really good. But the little girl was just sitting on the bed like, I can't let you out because the ghost told me not to, so yeah. Like, I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was so funny. But yeah, other than that, it was just like not that great. Like, and then cause it had to be scary to me. It had to be super scary because why would you make 12 million sequels out of this if it wasn't one of the scariest movies ever? Like, but it wasn't. So yeah, October 11th, I watched the original Blob. Now this had a lot of going for it because that remake of the Blob in the 80s was fucking fantastic. I loved that movie. Oh my god, that movie was so good. So I was like, okay, the original had to be good too, and it actually was. It was a really solid movie because all the beats were there. The characters were really nice. The characters was really like the saving grace of the movie. I like the concept. You know, it was a simple concept actually. Like, oh yeah, a blob, a alien being coming and like absorbing people, and you have to make the town believe that it's real. They do make it real, and then they try to fight for their town. That seems simplistic to me. I was like, okay, cool. I really liked it. I really did like it. Like, cause I knew the acting was gonna be off, and I knew like the set was gonna be a little Broadway play acty. But it actually worked. It worked. So I liked it. I thought it was a really solid movie. October 12th, I watched 28 Days Later, the original to the 28 Weeks Later, which was a fucking great movie. 28 Weeks Later, if you haven't watched it, it's fucking fantastic. But this one, it wasn't better, but it was great. It was great. This was a great foundation for that movie because in 28 Days Later, you kind of see the after effects of the pandemic, like the zombie apocalypse, and you see it focuses more on the survival parts of it rather than the zombies. But 28 Weeks Later focuses more on the zombies and the actual outbreak part of it. So I thought that was a very interesting take. But yeah, 28 Days Later goes hard. Like, oh, and then the characters, like you see their bond. They bond fairly quickly, and like it's very there. You feel like their bond is like growing and growing, and you know it's gonna be tragic when either one or more of their characters die, and it happened, and you felt it. I at least felt it. And it was like, and then the main protagonist became like this weak person, like the weakest of the group, to being like the strongest of the group, which I fucking love. I love when characters do that. Oh my gosh, when they like go beast mode and like start just rampaging. Oh my gosh, I will never get tired of that stereotype in like main character. Like because it was a guy, so like when the guy becomes the final guy, like yeah, he went hard in that one. So I can see why it's like one of the best zombie movies like out there. So I see you, I recognize you, I love you. October 13th, I watched Annabelle Creation, the prequel to Annabelle, and this movie, the first part of it, the first half of it was a comedy because this fucking demon was fucking this little girl up with polio. Like, you really was like going in on this weak bitch. Like, oh my god, I thought it was so fucking funny. How she was like fucking falling and fucking, oh my god, there was this one part where it was like she was on this like wheelchair staircase thing and it was going up and down, but she went almost all the way down, but then the demon was like, nope, you gonna come back up like Gremlin style. Like, oh my god, I instantly thought about Gremlins when I saw that. But and then the second half of it was fucking scary. Like, it was terrifying. Like, this demon was like really like, okay, the fun and games are over. I'm going to kill y'all now. So yeah, like I'm not joking no more. Like, I'm tired of like I hope that makes sense. But like that demon was like, I'm not playing no more. I'm fucking all y'all up. So I thought that was great. And then it tied into Annabelle, of course, which ties into like the rest of the shit. So I really like that universal thing because I thought I just like how those movies connect to each other in very unique ways. So I like that, obviously. James Bond, I love you. Yeah. I don't love the movie, but I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot. And then finally, I watched the original It, 1990 with Tim Curry. Now, I had very mixed feelings about it. I have a lot of thoughts about it, but it was supposed to be a it is a miniseries, but they condensed it into a 3-hour movie, which kind of took me aback. I was like, oof, 3 hours for a movie? No. Like, I don't know about all of that. For a horror movie at that. Like, I can barely survive a 2-hour movie. Like, when it's like horror. I thought it was really good. It was a good movie. Like, and then this is one of those movies where like it's not better or worse than the remake. Because usually when they remake movies, it's like either better or worse than the original or whatever, vice versa. But I think this one was like equal to the remake, because in the remake they focused on the scare factor and they kind of focused more of the connection with the losers as kids rather than adults to me. And in the miniseries, it wasn't that scary, but the strength of the bond that the characters have and the urgency to try and kill the Pennywise was like more there than in the original than it was in the remake to me. So that's why I think they're comparable rather than one's better than the other. Because like in the original, the kids versions of them, I feel like their bond was a little off, but they had that look. Like their look was like, oh yeah, these look like losers, so I feel bad for them. But then in the remake, they didn't, you can tell like the actors could either play losers or popular kids, you know? Like, and then I feel like their bond in the remake was like way better than the one in the original. But then as adults, the original blew them out the park because the adults bond was like way more prevalent than the remake. Because in the remake, the actors are like too big of a name and like they kind of were distracting. Whereas the original, I don't really know these actors, but I felt like their bond to each other was like more there. So yeah, the original was like really good, and I don't know, I just kept comparing them, and like they're so comparable that like they're just so equal to each other, but in like just a standstill. Like not one is not better than the other. It's just that they just have different aspects of each other that are like good and bad. So, and that is it for week 2. I hope you liked the video, because this is my second time recording it. So you better like it. I'm just kidding. Kind of. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that great stuff. It really helps my channel out. And I'll see you next week for more horror movies. Bye. Happy spooky season.